McNeil, 6 points. McNeil splitting Charlie Waters, 41, and Mel Renfro, Tarkenton drilling it on target.
Well, hello! Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. Welcome to the Gridiron. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you! If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below or maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, the New York Giants, they're projected, their win total is 7, okay, which I believe is about what it was last year. I think might have been even 6 last year. It was either 6 or 7 last year. So, obviously the year before that they wound up, 6-10. They added some firepower, and the win total was supposed to be still like 6 or 7. So I mean, it was like there was, as far as Vegas was concerned, the Giants just there was no love for them, and they only won 4 games last year. Obviously, I mean, of course, they had second and third string quarterbacks in there, which doesn't help. But they were pretty much spot on last year about what the Giants were supposed to win, and this year coming up, their win total is 7. Now, that's as of right now. Now, if they maybe have some kind of a killer draft or something, maybe it goes up a little bit. Who knows? Okay, but according to, I'll leave a link in the description box. You can check this out. To Sharp Football Analysis. All right, catchy name there. The Washington Commanders had the most improvement as far as strength of schedule from 2021 to 2022. Basically, they went from dead last to first. All right, as in this link, I'll leave it here. The actual strength of schedule for the Washington Commanders, all right, for 2021 they were the 32nd. They had the hardest strength of schedule. The actual, after the season was over with and all that. 32nd. This year, going into 2022, they're projected to have, they got the easiest. So they went from the hardest to the easiest. Okay, so their improvement was number 1. I mean, obviously, they went from so hard to so easy. Their improvement, out of all 32 teams, they're number 1 as far as improvement, okay? Now, the Giants, all right, last year, their actual strength of schedule wound up being number 31, all right? So Washington was 30, had the hardest, actual, after the season was over with, all the totals were added up and everything. So Washington was the hardest, the Giants were the second hardest in all of football. This year, the Giants are ranked 8th as far as having the 8th easiest, okay? So their improvement overall is number 2, because they went from number 31, the 31st hardest, to the 8th easiest. So the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants, their strength of schedule basically just like flip-flop from one year to the next. So that's really, really good. All right, so based on, Vegas, all right, the win totals, all right, what they think the team's, win totals are going to be, all right. The Commanders, all right, as far as strength of schedule, as far as the easiest, the Commanders have the easiest strength of schedule. I mean, as of right now, all right, going into the 2022 season, the Eagles are number 3, the Cowboys are number 6, and the Giants are number 8. Okay, now some of the reason why the Commanders, the Eagles, and the Cowboys, their strength of schedule is easier than Giants is because the Giants are on their schedule. They got one of the worst teams in football, especially last year. All right, and they're on the other team's schedule. Because having the Cowboys on the Giants' schedule makes the Giants harder because the Cowboys, had a good season last year. So basically that's one of the reasons why the Eagles and the Cowboys and the Commanders, their strength of schedule as of right now is easier than the Giants. Now, you got this chart here. Last year, the strength of schedule for the Cowboys, the actual strength of schedule after the whole season was over, the Cowboys were the 7th easiest in all of football. And this year they're projected to be the sixth easiest. So basically, they just stayed pretty much the same. They had an easy schedule last year. They got an easy schedule this year. Congratulations, Cowboys. The Eagles, last year, the actual strength of schedule, they had the fifth easiest overall. And basically it showed because anytime they had to play a good team, they lost to them. Anytime they had to play a bad team, they beat them. So, and now this year, the Eagles' strength of schedule is going into the season, as of right now, is the third easiest. So basically, the Eagles had an easy schedule last year. They got an easy schedule this year. So, but but it's according to once again the sharp football analysis of the 10 teams. Okay, just to go to show you, all right, how kind of accurate that this is. All right, the 10 teams with the hardest schedules last year going into the season. All right, how they picked the 10 teams have the hardest projected schedules, strength of schedule. All right, only 3 of those teams actually went over the projected win totals, so they were pretty close. All right, the Cardinals, the Steelers, and the Raiders all went over their projected win totals. Only 3 of them out of the 10. They were projected to have hard schedules. They did, and only 3 of those 10 teams went over the projected win total. Now, then, once again, according to the sharp football analysis, of the 10 teams that actually had the easiest schedules last year, okay, only 3 of them went under the projected win totals. Okay, there was the Bills, the Broncos, and the Browns. The B combination there, right? They were projected because they had easy schedules. I mean, the Broncos were supposed to win X amount of games. Well, they only won I think 7. Right? They had an easy schedule, and they did not do very well at all last year. Same thing with the Browns. The Browns had an easy schedule. They were supposed to win a certain amount of games, and they did not perform well. And even the Bills. I mean, the Bills the year before that were 13-3. They came down, a little bit. They were supposed to win a lot more, because, I mean, the Bills were up here. You got the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Patriots all below them. And, they had kind of an easy schedule, especially the last bunch of games of the season. They had an easy schedule. And, they just did not perform up to up to par. But, I mean, it just kind of goes to show you, what the win totals are and the strength of schedule. It's reasonably accurate, okay? So the win totals are one of being pretty accurate. So is saying that the Giants, will be the 8th easiest schedule, all right, and should have a good shot. They should have a very good shot, right, of winning at least 7 games, right? Because according to this, as I said, the teams have the 10 easiest strengths of schedule. Almost all of them perform to what they say they're supposed to, and they said the Giants should win about 7 games, and so I mean they got a good shot. Now as far as having an easy strength of schedule, there's some good points to it. Oh yeah, there's a couple bad points. I'll point them out toward the end there, but I mean for the most part, that's a good thing for the Giants. All right. Also, one of the reasons why as I said, the Commanders and the Eagles and the Cowboys, their strengths of schedule are easier than Giants, as because the Giants are on their schedule. That's why. I mean, the Giants were 4-13 last season, and they're on their schedule. I mean, that's why they made theirs so easy. Now last year the Cowboys were 12-5, right? The Eagles were 9-8. Washington was 7-10. The Giants, of course, were 4-13. Cowboys last year they had the 7th easiest strength of schedule. The Eagles had the 5th easiest strength of schedule last year. The Commanders, as I said, were number 32 overall. The Giants were number 31, the second hardest in all of football. So now this season, all 4 of those teams, in the NFC East are in the top 8. I mean, as of right now, because say something would happen to Dak Prescott, right? Well, now the Cowboys' win total is gonna go down a little bit. You know what I mean? So, as of right now, everybody being healthy and all that and going into the draft and everything, the Cowboys are supposed to, win. Let's see. I can figure this out right now here. Let's see. The Cowboys are supposed to have their win total is 10.5. Okay. Eagles are 8.4, and the Commanders somehow are 7.4, and the Giants are at 7. Right. Now the Giants, their home games, right? Obviously, they got one against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are supposed to win 10.5 games. Eagles 8.4. The Commanders 7.4. They got to play the Bears at home. Bears are only supposed to win 6.8. So the Giants are actually supposed to win more than the Bears. The Lions are only supposed to win 6.1. The Giants are supposed to win 7. All right. The Houston Texans are only supposed to win 4.5. The Giants are supposed to win 7. Indianapolis Colts are playing the Giants in Giants Stadium. Colts are supposed to win 9.5. The Ravens are supposed to win 9.7. And the Panthers are only supposed to win 6. So, all right. So we got some winnable games at home, according to the strength of schedule and all that and everything. Okay. Away, once again, the Cowboys are supposed to win 10.5 games. The Eagles are supposed to win 8.4. The Commanders are supposed to win 7.4. These are the away games. Now, the Giants have to play in Seattle. Now, of course, Seattle is projected to win 6.4 games. So the Giants are actually projected, because, I mean, they don't have Russell Wilson anymore, right? If they had Russell Wilson, they were projected to probably win 8 or 9 games. But they have no Russell Wilson. They got Drew Lock. They go down to 6.4. On the road, the Giants have to play in Tennessee. Tennessee is supposed to win 9.5. Just projected. Minnesota is supposed to win 9. Okay, but you look at it, it's like 9. Wow, that's pretty good. I mean, it means 9 and 8. I mean, that's it's like 500. I mean, somehow they got Tennessee at 9.5. I mean, I guess they figure maybe Tennessee's going to take a step back. I guess I don't know, because they got Tennessee. So that means Tennessee, at this rate would be 9.5 and 7.5. I mean, that's not a super spectacular record. Then they have to play on the road in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's only supposed to win 6.4 games, and then of course they got to play Green Bay, who's supposed to win 11.2 games. So, but I mean the Giants, they got some good and they got some bad. All right, now it would be tough for the Giants to to make the obviously to make the. If we be realistic here, okay. Do I want to win the Super Bowl? Oh yeah. Do I want them to win the next 500 Super Bowls? Oh yeah. But if we get realistic here, all right, just calm down, think about it, all that and everything. It's going to be a little hard, for the Giants, to win the division. Okay, can they do it? Sure, absolutely. Are they going to do it? The chances are, no, probably not. Okay, so just don't. All right. All the other 3 teams, obviously have the easier strength of schedule. All the other 3 teams last year did it, played better than the Giants. Obviously, won more. So I said the Giants going to have a tough time winning the division. They can also have a tough time making the playoffs this year. Period. All right. The Giants here. Let's see. If they wind up winning 7 games, okay, this is a good thing for them. Okay, then the Giants, they wind up losing. They lost, on defense. All right, they lost. Possibly going to lose Bradbury. All right, we were 4-13 last year. Of course, it was second and third string quarterbacks in there. I get that, but we're possibly going to lose Bradbury. We got rid of Logan Ryan. We're not signing it. Jabrill Peppers is gone. The D-line is not the greatest. It's a little weak. The D-line is a little weak. Okay. For Wink Martindale's defense, they could use better coverage in the secondary. We only got 2 safeties. We're trying to get rid of our best cornerback. Okay, so it ain't going to be easy. All right. They could also use better some pass rush. I mean, we might get that in the draft, which would be fantastic. But we're thin at safety. And we have 2. Okay, we got 2. And we could use help on the D line, right? And not even so much this year, but we may not re-sign Dexter Lawrence. We might cut Leonard Williams after the season. Then who are we going to have on the defensive line? Who? So, our linebacker, we could use a couple of linebackers. We got, Blake Martinez, but, other than that, who do we have anybody solid in the middle? We got Azeez Ojulari, but, do we have another edge rusher? Quincy Roche had a few sacks last year, but, other than that, who do we have? Right? So, you got a couple of injuries, crush this defense. I'm not jinxing nobody, but if Blake Martinez gets hurt again, Xavier McKinney gets hurt again, right? I mean, right? I mean, Leonard Williams. I mean, just you get a couple injuries, a couple key players here, we're in trouble. There's no depth. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's just because we have the cap problems that we have. It's hard to bring in a lot of good quality depth. Now that's why we have to start building through the draft, which would be huge. But the defense is we got some problems there. Hopefully we'll fix a couple of them in the draft, which would be fantastic. Now on okay, you got a couple, our top 3 wide receivers, all right, they're all injury prone. Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, all injury prone, all right. So we need some more. We got guys, we got depth behind them. Is it quality, good, solid depth? I mean, we got Slayton too, okay, but the offensive line, all right. We just brought in a bunch of veterans to kind of, we got to work them together. Hopefully they gel together and all that. That could take games, right? And then not only on top of that, but we brought in a lot of guys on like 1-year contracts. So a lot of these guys we're bringing in this year to help maybe form some kind of cohesion in the offensive line and make us better and all. By 3 or 4 of them going to be gone next year. The guys we brought, So, we need offensive line. We need depth on the offensive line. We have basically no established tight end whatsoever. We brought Breida in, but we lost Devontae Booker. So if we, our 3 best wide receivers get injured all the time. Well, not all the time, but they get injured. We have no established tight end. Our offensive line is, a bunch of new guys brought in, old veterans, hopefully, so we got a little ways to go. All right, we got, if you look at it honestly, we got a little ways to go. All right, now the bad part, okay, about having the easiest schedule, right, is once again is that everybody in the division schedule is easier, right, than the Giants. The other thing is that having an easier schedule and you're not that good of a team kind of overinflates possibly your win total. When maybe if you had like a this maybe the middle of the road, you might have an extra loss in there or something where basically what you should do because you don't have a very good team. I mean, if the Giants basically like the right, say the Giants took their team here, okay, and they played a bunch of high school kids every week. Well, they'd have a lot of wins. They would. That doesn't mean they're good. They'd have a lot of wins. So here having an easy schedule might give them an extra win or two that under normal circumstances they wouldn't have. So it would maybe inflate their win total a little bit. Which next year in the draft will wind up hurting them. Obviously you want them to win as many games as possible. But if you start, just try to be a little realistic about this here, okay? Having one of the easier schedules and all could possibly, especially in the draft next year, could hurt them a little bit. But one of the good things, okay, is if you want to look at it, right, is that this draft coming up. If say the Giants win 7 games, they go 7-10. Okay, so they went from 4-13 to 7-10. They had no cap space, couldn't bring anybody in, had to let a bunch of guys go. Maybe got a few nice draft picks and all, right? Got the new coaching staff and all. And say the Giants go 7-10, that would be really freaking great, really good. Because then we get next year in the draft, maybe we get a few more guys coming in. We're gonna have a lot of money to spend next year. We can bring in hopefully a couple good, solid, studs we can sign, okay, to help fill the roster out even a little bit better. But just say they win 7 games, all right? The draft coming up here this year, okay? This is where, even if their win total is overinflated a little bit, it's not necessarily going to really kill them, especially if they trade one of their top 10 picks. Maybe move back in the draft and maybe collect some draft picks for next year. Because if they need a quarterback next year, Just saying, if they need a quarterback, they'll have Tyrod Taylor there. Daniel Jones might be gone, right? They'll have Tyrod Taylor there holding a torch. Maybe he'll be able to teach somebody new coming in, unless we draft Sam Howell this year. I mean, who knows? But if we need a quarterback next year, right? With 7 wins, we'll be right in the thick of things, all right? Especially if we get an extra pick, maybe a first rounder or something next year, right? Because this year coming up, the Atlanta Falcons, all right, are 7-10. They're picking 8. The Broncos, they're 7-10 from last year. They're picking 9. The Jets got the Seahawks pick. The Seahawks last year were 7-10. Then we got then pick 11. All right, is the Washington Commanders. They're 7-10 as well. Okay. All right. So basically, if the Giants win 7 games, all right, according to what they got right here, okay, they might have pick 8, they got to pick 9, they got to pick 10, maybe pick 11 next year. So if they have 7 wins, they'll be in the top 10 next year. And the thing is, if they have an easy schedule and they have 7 wins, what is the team? When they have all the teams that have the same amount of wins, what they do is they take the strength of schedule. Whoever has the easiest strength of schedule gets the first pick in front of all the other ones. Because what that means is that you won 7 games, this other team won 7 games, but you won 7 games, you had the easier strength of schedule. That means you stink even more than the other team because they had a harder strength of schedule. Okay? So you won only 7 with an easy schedule. That means you really stink. That means you get the pick in front of all the other ones. So if the Giants have an easy strength of schedule, they go 7-10. They just possibly might wind up like with maybe pick number 8. And that they need a quarterback. And if they trade, one of their picks this year, maybe get an extra first round or so, whatever, next year, and they can couple, if they got to move up in the draft into the top 5 or so, maybe to pick a quarterback, and they're going to need maybe a couple first rounders to do that. And they trade one of their top 10 picks this year and get an extra first for next year. If they're picking maybe 8 or 9 next year and they get another first rounder, and if they have to couple up, put another second rounder or something in there, if they have to move up, they can do that if they need a quarterback next year. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!